if you go into an auction and you try and buy like the £1,000, £2,000 cars, people pile all over them. You got to like beat your way through to have a look. There's people everywhere. But as the price goes up and up and up and up, there's less people looking around, are there? And then you get to like the Tom Hartleys of the world who are spending £2 million on Bugattis or whatever.
I think the risk is higher.
There's also not as many people buying those.
That's so true, Joe, because back in the day, Niche and BCA, so they've got like 2 lanes. And there was like, this day there was a budget lane, what you're on about, and it was just, there was probably like 100 traders all, bidding. I was in there as well. And then the lane next to it was a Land Rover Mercedes lane. And there was, I swear to God, there was like 3 buyers in there. And that was it. And that's what I thought in my head. Like the penny sort of dropped. I thought, I need to be over in that other lane where, there isn't like shitloads of people there. You need to fish where the fewest people fish or something, isn't it? To make the money. We're all in that cheaper lane. Everyone's just going for the scraps, aren't they? Sort of thing.
That said, I did send Joe up a 67 plate Toyota with low mileage and take in a 2012 and a 2000. What was the other one? 11 bangers, a couple of bangers yesterday, didn't I? So I'm not sure I learned my lesson that well.
I mean, to be fair, you're calling them bangers, but
yeah. No,
what's your idea?
They weren't bangers as in that, but obviously in the industry they'd be considered bangers, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
95,000 miles.
6 months away from having retailed those myself, but. Now,
what are we calling bangers here? Like, I'm interested to know on the banger scale. Can we confirm the banger scale?
I probably got pictures. One of them was a 2012 Toyota Verso on 95,000 miles.
That's not a banger. That's a beauty. That's a 7 sweater.
Yeah, is it a 7-seater or not?
No, it's not a 7. I don't think that one's a 7-seater. I don't know. I need to go and check. I haven't really looked at it yet.
It's a 7-seater. They're all 7-seaters, the Versos, aren't they?
Are they?
Don't know. But anyway,
people go mad. Obviously, there's a certain type of person that buys the Verso, but they're everywhere looking for one because they are good cars.
I absolutely agree, James. I mean, they would piss off my forecourt. If I did them full retail, they would piss off my forecourt because the other one was an automatic Astra 1.6, wasn't it, on a 2012 with 70,000 miles on it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Someone's had a horrendous job at filling the rear quarter, but other than that, it's seemed all right. But no, they're the kind of cars here, sub 5K, just they'll fly out the door, absolutely fly out the door. Whereas a 67 plate RAV4, how long is it? That's what retails nearly 16 grand. How quickly is that going to move?
I reckon I'll sell that in 2 weeks tops.
Yeah, no, I think you'll probably sell quickly.
The only reason, do you know what? If there wasn't customers and there wasn't warranty claims, the 2 cars that I sent you were the things that I'd sell all day long.
Yeah.
Because, what did I sell it? Sell it to you, that Verso, for example, for 1,800 quid, and the retail's nearly 5 grand or something, wasn't it? Like, or was it
4.5
7 or something?
Yeah.
No, it'd be 5. Whatever the book says, it'll be a little bit higher, and it was auto as well.
So you get 5, and you've done a little bit on it. You got, you're making like 300% or 150% profit. That just doesn't. Where else do you get that kind of
gross profit?
Yeah, I know, but
No, I mean I built my business on those kind of cars. They sell in around here. I'm known for those. People turn up day in, day out on the doorstep with that kind of money looking for a car from me because they've been told I can supply that kind of thing. So yeah, it does. They do work really well. They're just such a gamble when you put them in for the MOT. It can go one way or another. It can be 300 quid. It can be 1,200 quid. You just never know, do you?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because you've got a massive margin and an audience for it. So the numbers long term are there, and also as well, going back to my age-old thing, like I know you said, Dave, you've been fishing in this. You want to be fishing in the bigger pond. What a lot of people forget is if you get a problem with that big car, you haven't got to buy back a £5,000 car. You've got to buy back a £25,000 car. And that is cash flow death immediately. If you get 3 of those, that can put someone in a real pickle real fast. And that's the thing.
Hey, James, I agree with you 100%. My brain goes from one side to the next all the time. It's like we've took in.
That's the trouble. You second
We've took a
yourself.
Peugeot 207 in Part X at the weekend. The chap's had it for 10 years. It's a 61 plate. It's got 50,000 on. it's stuff that I love to sell. It's got £2,000 in it. But then I got in and the window wasn't working. And then I'm like, it's the mini engine where the chain can go. And it's the customer that's going to come on the pitch and do my head in, like some of these mockers we've got. And it's just not the way I want to go at the minute. I'm just going to try and go the other way this year and see what happens. But I fully agree with you. You know what I mean? If I had a mechanic here as well, if I had a garage, I might be more inclined to sell the really cheap stuff. But once it goes wrong, it just takes up all my time trying to fix it as well.
Yeah, and it's the types of
customers
you,
as well,
you can get, you know. But what I always think is, you think about having spent say £2,000 on that and getting £5,000 back. If me and Dave could take all the money that we've got invested in stock into, you know, how many cars we'd have, how many you'd sell, we'd retire in a couple of years. We would have more money than we know what to do with. But if it wasn't for customers' warranties, things going wrong with them all the time, and I think I've just been fingers burnt too many times. I haven't got the patience in me.
And the other thing is, Joe, that
selling some old car. And
the cheaper stuff as well. We could fill up the pitch with loads of cheap stuff, but I haven't got enough space to fill up the pitch with tons of cheap stuff. Like James, how many cars can you fit on yours?
I can only fit 37 on mine, but I've got nearly 60.
That's great.
So yeah, it's a little bit cheeky. A bit cheeky what we do, but I like to think it's quite, you know, it's good usage of like the garages, body shops,
for
cars
story
here, there, and everywhere. Like we'll leave it over at the auction hall for as long as we can. Pick it up at the very last minute, and we'll like wait on as we do handovers. We'll do like, so if we do 2 handovers on one day, we'll then go and grab 2 from ones that we've already paid for over at the auction to fill up that space. So I like to have it packed all the time, and like sometimes we, you know, might tax 1 or 2 and like park them nearby. Yeah, I'm not afraid to do that. So you can use the space, or like I know some people like they'll go and buy like a little compound just down the road. But what I will say, with something that is out of sight, out of mind, you'll leave stuff to rot in there.
Yeah,
and that's not healthy.
100%.
See, I quite like a percentage of the people that come to buy the cheaper cars, because sometimes you've got someone who's on a limited budget, and the fact you're able to produce something, you have machine polished and properly valeted and put a new MOT on it, and they feel so much happier buying that than going and getting something private, and maybe it's someone's first car as well. It's quite nice providing them with someone their first car. Again, and then the parents are there with them, and they're happy that their kid's getting into a decent motor and haven't had to buy a shed. It's quite nice. Yeah, you can get the people that have, like I've got a lady at the moment. So I don't know if I should tell this story now or not. Joe, do you want a story now?
Go on.
It's entirely up to you. You can save it. I mean, it won't affect you putting it out on your channel, I wouldn't have thought.
It's a 2006 RAV4 that I shouldn't have retailed, that was quite low mileage and it was super clean. And it's too far back because I sold it for 5 months ago. And I can't really remember the sale at all. But looking at the invoice, I've knocked some money off of it. But it's gone out the door with 5 months MOT on it, which is something I wouldn't normally do. So I can only assume I gave a discount due to the leaving what was currently on it. And it must have had a clean MOT, because if it had loads of advisory, I would never send it out on the MOT. I had a phone call a couple of days ago, from this lady saying, you said I'd get a free MOT with the car. I think this car's like $3,000. I said, really? She said, yeah. You said I'd get a free MOT with the car when it came around for MOT. I was like, oh, why would I do that? I just stuck an MOT on it before I went out the door. She said, no, you definitely said. So if you took it down your garage, you'd get me an MOT. I said, well, I thought, okay. Well, perhaps I meant that I'd get it done for her at trade rate, as in she could get the MOT done cheaply. So before I knew it, she dropped the car down there, and she's messaged me and said, the guy said you'll pay for anything it needs doing. I'm like, you've been driving the car for 5 months. 5 months, and you want me to do anything that comes up on the MOT? So the MOT comes round, and the guys ring me and tell me what's on the MOT. I don't think they've ever have said that. They know the score. The MOT's come round, it needs a little bit of welding on it. I'm like, at the end of the day, it's under 6 months old. The welding potentially would have been on there at point of sale. So whether you think I'm soft or not, I've said, go ahead and I'll do the welding. But there's some stuff on there like a gator that needs replacing, like a rubber boot. And I said, I'm not doing that, because that could have, wasn't on the last MOT and could have happened in between. So she messages me yesterday and says to me, what's going on with the car? I've heard nothing at all on the car. I said, well, it's failed its MOT. I've told them the stuff that I'm happy to do. And she went, you're not doing it all. I'd have taken it somewhere else if I not realised you're not doing it all. And I'm like, well, why would you want to take it somewhere else? I'm prepared to do some of it. You'd have to pay for all of it there. And just the attitude, just really, you bought a 2006 car, you've been driving it for 5 months, and you now think you're going to get a free MOT with any work that it requires done on a car that's like $3,000. So every now and then you do get somebody like that, and probably I should have just put my foot down more. But on the other side of it, sometimes you do get really nice people that are just ever so grateful that they've been able to buy a car cheaply that's properly prepared and we've done the little bumper corners and we've given it machine polish and we've wet cleaned the seats, that kind of thing.
I'm going to verbally smack your legs for this. Okay. So you should put it on the receipt. Okay. So this is what we do. And we've been caught up in this before. So if you sell a car with, I don't know, 8 months MOT, we put the MOT that it's supplied with, customer aware. And if you're giving a customer a discount for something, you would say to them, we've discounted this vehicle because you are aware of this bodywork, that fault, this electric window doesn't work. Because like sometimes they do come in and they're like, I need the car today, I need it. But you've got to cover yourself and go, this is what the scenario is. If you've promised that person an MOT, okay, so sometimes we get it. We've got a car that we might have bought in and it's got 11 months MOT, but we want it to go through our garage just for peace of mind, because then we've got proof that car was fit for purpose at point of sale. We'll say, you have to bring that car back to us within 14 days or 30 days to get an MOT, not in 5 months once you've done X amount 1,000 miles, because you've basically left yourself wide open there. And unfortunately, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on if you turn around to her and said, you know what, screw you, I'm not doing the MOT, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, because it's not on the receipt, you've got no proof to say otherwise. So she's done.
I totally agree, and that's why I don't think
better nature. Basically, she's looked at you and thought, "Do you know what a lovely guy, gonna fuck him."
Yeah. Well, the thing with it is that's why I don't believe I ever would have said it, because I'm actually religious at doing that. My forms, if they go out with any faults at all, it's all listed in there. On my invoices, I'll do line by line, agreeing what the prep's going to be, everything else. That's why I find it hard to believe I ever would have given a discount on a car without a full MOT on it, and then said, I'd have MOT'd it for you 5 months later. It just doesn't make any sense at all. She's absolutely adamant I said I would do one.
Or what? Did something happen? Was she exceptionally attractive? Did something happen?
No. Money comes first every time, James. Money first, every time, regardless of how attractive.
Something happened on that day.
I can only assume that somewhere between it was kind of like, I can do the car for you with a brand new MOT, free brand new MOT, or we can do it at this price. And she's basically taken the parts of the conversation she likes and combined them together to come up with, I get a discounted price and I get an MOT in 5 months' time. Because I've been around the block enough to know that after 5 months of driving a car around at that age, there could be any number of repairs needed.